Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fall of Naughty. I mean, the ruination of. Oh, I'm sorry, The Last of Us Part 2. Okay, everybody. Before we start, I would like to make something very clear. There's a lot of stuff going on about this game. A lot of controversy. Both a lot of truths and a lot of lies being spread on the internet about stuff. I will occasionally address one of them here and there. However, I will tell you, everybody, that we are here to commentate on the game itself. So, we're not here to talk about any weird stuff. Shira, in particular, I'm sure has one particular thing that she wants to really discuss about, but we'll get to it when we get to it. But the point is,
occasionally bring up the other news stuff here, but that won't be the main focus.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's probably inevitable that we will bring up some obvious big factors surrounding this game, and also certain stuff having to do with game journalism, because that's kind of unavoidable. Mm-hmm. But we digress. The main focus will still be on this game and its problems, which there are plenty of.
Mm-hmm. No, I would like to add. As I'm sure Pedro will reinforce, is that there will be positive stuff said about this.
Exactly.
Despite how this intro comes across, each of us actually does have something positive to say about this game.
Exactly.
We're not here to drag this through the
mindlessly crap on it. Yeah, that's not something that I would have.
We're not 100%, Nick.
Oh no! Exactly. No, you would never catch me doing that because it goes against all my principles.
Look, the fact that we managed
it's not fair.
The fact that we managed to say positive stuff of the likes of David Cage games, Final Fantasy XIII's trilogy, and hell, even Fairy Fencer F. Yeah, there's definitely positive stuff to say about here.
Oh, no, remember, I said I never had any problem saying that I liked Final Fantasy's battle system. So, I have absolutely no problem in...
I believe there's positives in everything, even if that positive is the smallest one you can get of it ended.
Except if it's The Last Airbender.
The music wasn't too bad.
But we're talking about the movie, by the way.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Dwebs, big rigs.
People smile at least.
Okay.
Oh, I know. You could go backwards at like 1 billion miles an hour.
All right.
Okay, wait. Hold on. Final challenge: the E.T. Atari game.
Too easy.
It has a not that bad rendition of the theme for the console it was on.
True. That is true.
God damn.
Oh, okay, there is something.
See, you can throw any game at me and I'll make a positive.
Sure. The basic point is, everybody, we will try to be as fair as we possibly can. I at least will, because I do not believe in unfair criticism. I absolutely, I'm not even kidding, to give you an idea, like if I see someone being delivered an unfair critique, even of games I hate, I would most likely ask you to not recommend that channel to me anymore, and stuff like that. That's how much I care about fair criticism. I don't even want to watch anything from a person that is willing to do unfair criticism. That's how. To give you an idea, for as much as I used to love Video Game Donkey's channel, but I found his review of Death Stranding to be unfair and dishonest in some aspects. I'm not going to get into it, and as a result, I don't follow that guy anymore. I'm not trying to say anything about you. I'm just saying how I act. I'm just trying to make my things clear. Anyway,
I'll just say this now: if you like this game, more power to you.
Exactly.
But I'll just say this: there are problems of this game that even people who love this game agree are problems with the game, especially regarding a certain new character. But trust me, that's like a whole nother textbook discussion to be had later.
We're not gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
For now, though, we've spent enough time on this intro. So, Pedro, why don't you tell our audience what Part 0 here is about?
Okay, everybody. First, in order to make a proper point for later parts, I wanted to cover the trailers. We never covered any of the trailers. I mean, we did comment on PlayStation Experience 2016, if I remember correctly. But that was so long ago anyway that it's worth doing a look over anyway. Especially because I don't think Shira was in it watching with us anyway.
No, typically I wasn't available for those.
Lord knows the
it's.
trailers are part of this long trek down this rabbit hole.
I think we also did the state of play that had one of the trailers in here, but again, for the purpose of making this playthrough self-contained so that you don't have to go look for older stuff in a channel, we'll do it right here.
I believe one of the trailers was at an E3 also.
Yes, I will.
Possibly, yes.
Yes.
E3 2018.
Don't worry, but so basically, everybody, we're going to start with a little montage I made myself of trailer stuff that I wanted to show specifically for the purpose of proving a point that I will make later on in the playthrough. Anyway, let's look at Last of Us Part 2's Deceitful marketing campaign.
You know, I've noticed a trend that we only tend to do these special kind of part just for really bad games in our eyes. Like there was the 13 trilogy.
I'll be right back.
Sonic 06. Watch.
That too.
It's usually when I have something in the marketing that I think is worth showing off, Jova.
It's just a shame that, we never get a really great game that deserves its own Part 0.
Well, we have extra parts for great games, there's that.
True.
I mean, it's mostly because Part Zeros are usually reserved for marketing purposes. That I don't think we've ever had anything with a great game where we thought we would warrant showing off trailers or anything. But this, trust me, everybody, it's warranted. Anyway, everybody, this was the first time that The Last of Us Part 2 was revealed to the public. Sean Layden introduced this in the PlayStation Experience of 2016, saying, "This game is in very early stages of production. However, the team really wanted to show this, so here's an early reveal trailer." So it shows off Ellie playing a guitar. You might remember, everybody, how near the end of the first game, Joel said that he's going to teach Ellie how to play guitar, and of course, and it seems like he indeed did do that.
Yes, I remember this. Oh, overall, E3 2016 was a pretty good showing. It wasn't as mind-blowing as Sony's E3 of 2015 was, but there was no shortage of great reveals, this included.
I remember our reactions to this trailer. Actually, you were all really looking forward to.
We were looking forward to it.
Well, at the time, we didn't really have any reason to be skeptical because Naughty Dog was still on their wild streak.
That's the worst thing. It'd be one thing if the company beforehand was struggling a bit with quality, but how you go from Uncharted Lost Legacy to wham, this.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, this scene, by the way, is not in the final game. However, I will give them slack on this one because this is the early reveal trailer from back in 2016. The game, as Sean Layden put it at the time, was still in early stages of production. So that's okay, fine. This was probably before even the whole story was written. So,
I just realized
this was most likely just something they came up with just so they could, drop the bomb that the game was in development and stuff like that. So I'm okay with that.
I'm also okay with this.
But yeah, I just realized something. Considering when this game was released, this game was probably made under the old guard of Sony, which, as we've come to analyze through recent stuff, not have been the best for Sony. Don't get me wrong, they had a lot of successes, but there was a lot of shortcomings that they weren't learning from. So I have to wonder, now that a lot of that old guard is taken care of, do you think maybe there's going to be some restructuring done at Naughty Dog?
We'll have to. Well, that's a thing, Joe, but the game is selling like gangbusters, so I have my doubts.
As much as I hate to admit it, I'm not surprised that this. There are sometimes when they have worked. EA can attest to that. But the main reasons are this. First of all, the game still does technically play well enough. So if you're playing it strictly for the gameplay, yeah, you'd still have fun. 2, a lot of people still wanted to give this game a proper chance. Now, technically 4 million, while definitely a good starter, is not Naughty Dog's normal big stuff. So in a way, you could say that, they did still have their sales kind of hurt because 4 million isn't as big as their openers tend to be. But still, 4 million is notable enough for them to probably try and make a sequel.
Oh, and here's the thing. Oh, by the way, guys, and I can now answer you that, Shuri, because me and Shuri were talking about this scene privately.
Yeah.
Basically, don't worry. Me saying this doesn't spoil anything. This is a scene that takes place chronologically at the beginning of the game's story.
I remember. We were showing
Here's
this
the
at
here.
E3 2018.
Consider this a bit of foreshadowing for one of my main issues with the game. This on the actual game, this scene only shows up in the last hour of the game. That's just to give you an idea of how fucked up the structure of the story is.
Also, I would like to. I'm sorry to cut you off, Jova, but this needs to be said. Considering, I won't say much more than this, but considering, what actually happens before, because, like Pedro said, this is presented later on. Everything that happens before regarding any discussion of these events that we're seeing right now. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. The structure takes all the context out and you have a completely different view of everything that's going on until you actually see it in the worst way possible.
It's
It's just not good.
They tried to Tarantino it, didn't they?
Jova, Tarantino actually still has it.
Well, Pedro. Hence why I said they tried to Tarantino it.
Sure.
Show scenes out of order.
Hell, even recently, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Well, as Pedro said off commentary, it's more like a Beyond Two Souls situation, which is what I gathered.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
okay. Like I said, they tried to Tarantino it, but in failing to Tarantino it, they ended up David Caging it. Because, let's be honest, David Cage as Beyond Two Souls, that just felt like a poor attempt at trying to Tarantino something.
Sorry, go ahead, finish.
So, if I recall correctly, this is what we saw at E3 2018, correct?
Nope. This is actually.
I know we.
No. Never mind. You're right. No,
Yeah,
never mind.
because I remember this trailer.
I actually did not include the 2017 trailer because the 2017 trailer is literally just one full cutscene from the final game. So we're going to see that.
Yeah.
So that trailer is literally just a copy paste of a full blown cutscene from the game. So it didn't feel like I needed to show it.
Yeah, this is, if I recall correctly, what we're about to see is, did you bring back all the footage from E3 2018 or
no?
just
I cut off the gameplay bits because the only purpose of this part is to show off the marketing campaign so I can make later points about it. Basically.
Yeah, as was said, folks, the context of the scene is way taken out of context. Like, chronologically, it happens early in the game. But in terms of where it actually shows up in the game is the last hour. And let me just say here, considering what we know about this couple in the actual game, dick move, Ellie, dick move.
It's not even just that, Jova. My issue with, now it's supposed to be gameplay, but I try to seamlessly...
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you did that really well, actually.
Thank you. Okay, see, that's the thing, Shiroi. See, my main issue is not even that. My main issue, now that I've finished the game personally, I can tell you, their relationship to me just comes across as bland, to be honest. There's nothing inherently wrong with it, it's just, I'm not particularly invested because their relationship is just like every other generic relationship I've ever seen in media,
I'll say this, my main issue with their relationship is how it started. It kind of starts... Okay, without spoiling, I'll just say this. Love.
Oh, this one. Okay, this is where I started getting really pissed off with the trailers.
Was this before or after the leak?
This is before. Remember, this was back in October 2019 during the State of Play. Anyway.
So
I don't remember this one.
Well, check this out, Shiroi. Let's think about this for a moment.
Oh, I remember this one.
Think about the context that this trailer is implying. Okay, so both Dina and Ellie are going on patrol. Okay, seems fine, right? Okay. Then they find this killdeer. Okay. Nothing out of the ordinary so far. Okay, there's trouble afoot. Okay, shit happens. That's fine.
They're the zombies.
Well, they're more like
they are.
Well, they're more likely infected. Technically, they're not zombies, but yeah, I see your point.
It took them a while to show up in these trailers, isn't it?
Yes, and trust me,
it's like the marketing team at Naughty Dog were like, "Oh shit, this is supposed to be a zombie game."
Well, okay.
That is an issue I will have.
Hold on. See, notice how she was looking for Dina. Apparently, she got lost from Dina, and then she finds something. And there's something here. Apparently, something happens. Okay, did something happen to Dina? Oh no. Okay, I can't speak for other people, but for me, when I first saw this trailer, it seemed to me that they were implying that Dina got killed, and that's what sparks Ellie's revenge quest. But
and supposedly she and Joel were going to go on this venture.
Well, you spoiled it. But yeah, we're about to get that reveal as well. Yeah.
Sorry, it's just like, well, I mean, I was actually there with you when we saw this trailer, so.
Well, sure, I didn't remember it, so I kind of wanted to keep. But whatever, it doesn't.
No, it's fine. We're about to see it anyway.
Also, from what I've heard, the violence in this game makes Tomb Raider 2013 look like a kid's film.
A bit, yeah.
Not helped by the fact that Mr. Druckmann forced his company to have to watch snuff films against their will. A process that
Here we go. Keep it for later, Pedro. Keep it for later.
What the hell are you doing here?
So there you go, guys. Apparently, the premise of the game is that Dina got killed, and Ellie wants revenge, and so this time we're going to be playing as Ellie with Joel as the assistant character. So basically, a reverse of the original game.
Jova, does someone pump laughing gas into your room?
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize. It seems Joel has just gone hopping mad.
Jova went full Jason Griffith with that one.
Anyway, now we're watching the story trailer. Okay, I want you guys to keep a close attention to Joel's face in this trailer. Notice how old he looks. Clearly, this was, after the time skip. Right? Okay. This is basically one of the final trailers that was made.
But not a gunshot that time.
Oh my.
We'll get to it.
Don't worry, Pedro. There will be a time for that part's reckoning.
I know.
Hey, Tommy.
So they just get to get away with it?
I get it, though. I get it.
How'd you find us?
It's such a shame because, I'm gonna say this now. The original game isn't even my type of thing in general. I really enjoyed it. I'm so disappointed in this. The fact that I really like the first one so much and the characters and everything, despite how, even nowadays, the first game is a point of contention. I hate this.
Let me explain, folks. Last of Us was something rather unique. Even if you weren't into the typical zombie apocalypse genre that involves two protagonists, going across the long open road to fulfill a quest regarding the apocalypse here and there, Last of Us changed the game plan enough. It was a story that, for the most part, played things relatively solidly.
Allow me to contribute to that, Jova. Much like the Dragon Quest series, it's one of those games that shows that it's not what you do, it's how you do it. You can take the most played out of tropes, and if you know what you're doing, and if you know to inject just enough quality, because that's always been one of Naughty Dog's primary qualities to me. The fact that they could take something that everybody else has already done it and do it just as good, if not better.
Okay, I'll go more into it during our actual playthrough, but Last of Us was a game that actually helped reinvigorate my interest in survival horror games of sorts, while also adding new stuff to the table. But you know what? I think what helped it the most was that it remembered to be character-driven and showcased, hey, how would characters actually react in this type of universe, given their different personalities and whatnot. Let's just say it worked. Last of Us 2 apparently forgot the memo and did not work.
Allow me to add to that. It was also one of the select few mainstream video games that had the balls to create to force the player to think about a moral ambiguous question that even divided people. Some people side with the whole Joel is a villain, fuck him, whereas other people like me not necessarily sympathize, but at the very least empathize with Joel's choice. So of course, and that's all. It's kind of like with the Clockwork Orange. Do you think Alex deserved what he got, or do you think the retribution was too much and over the top? Again, that's
that movie was a mindfuck.
That's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that's great in ambiguous art, the fact that it sparks discussion. And Last of Us Part 1 was one of the few mainstream video games that dare to do something like that, but because mostly it's Japanese or less mainstream promoted games that usually do that kind of stuff. But Last of Us Part 2 actually had the balls to do that. This game, on the other hand, let's just say this game decided to take away the moral ambiguity completely out the window and completely go with the Joel is a demon direction. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Ironically, what it actually did was convince most audience that Joel was in the right. But again, that is for the actual adventure to occur.
Anyway, everybody, tune in for the actual beginning of the game.
See you then.
See ya.
See ya.